Thank you very much to everybody for staying so late. I can only echo what Kevin DeMarco has just said. This is a fantastic attendance for given this is the third day of the conference and that late of the day, and beautiful weather outside in a wonderful city. So what are you all doing here, really? But anyway, thanks for staying. This is wonderful. I wanted to start the closing session here, and we'll go through a number of things first. So first thing I would like to do is really thank the organizers of the meeting, and really first and foremost those two guys here that you see on the slide up there, who are Jean-Michel Sarfati, who is here, and Philippe Douek, who are the local organizers of these meetings. And I think, I mean, you can, I think it's easy to say that just seeing the attendance here in this room, that they've done an outstanding and fantastic job on putting together not only an excellent scientific program that was very stimulating and innovative, but also really wonderful social events. And I've been told many times that when you come to France, it's all about the food. And I can confirm, the food was fantastic. So thank you, Jean-Michel, and thank you, Philippe. I don't know, Jean-Michel, if you want to come up and talk a little bit about the local organization committee. Could somebody please get Johanne Langford? Oh, there she is already from outside. So before I hand over to Jean-Michel, there's a big shout out to the SMRA Secretariat and Conference Management, Jeanette Wallace, who couldn't be here, Jessica Gulmet, who helped out, who's in the back. And I want to specifically, a very, very special thank you to Johanne Langford, who has really worked tirelessly. I'm not sure if she's, no, she almost interested. I'm not sure if she slept at all over the past 3 days, but we're so thankful for having her, for taking care of everything. You're like the heart and soul of this society, really. We really appreciate your work. So please give a very, very, very big hand to Johanne. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Michael.
We have a little bit of a present for you.
Oh, merci. Merci. Thank you, Michael.
Thank you.
Yes. I'm going to wash myself.
Well, I'm very glad I've organized this wonderful meeting, and it was a great pleasure for me over the last 4 days to be with all of you and to listen to this great program. But it was also a great pleasure to organize it. I remember 2 years ago when I was in South Africa, David Saloner said that organizing the conference for him was like having organized 2 weddings and a bar mitzvah. This struck me as a certain challenge, but I believe for me it was more like organizing 2 bar mitzvah and a wedding, which is, believe me, more difficult. So I want to thank, of course, the international people who helped me along the way. I want to thank Michael Markle, who was really a great organizer, and he helped me all along as a president. It was great to have him by my side. Thank you very much, Michael. I want to thank also the co-president, President-elect Gilles Rodidi, was President-elect, maybe. So he helped me a lot also. We had many conversations through the phone, so thank you, Gilles, a lot, guys. Thank you, Johanne. I'm not sure she's still here, yes. Thank you, Janet, a lot. And I would like also to thank all the people locally who helped me. Of course, there were my students, Marco Castagna, Sébastien Levilly. Thank you again. You were here all along. Thank you, Nadine, also, who was here all along, our secretary, university secretary. She helped us a lot. And I'm forgetting for sure people who were here all along, But I want to especially thank Philippe Douek, who was here also, and we worked very nicely together on the scientific program and on the social events and so on. So thank you very much, Philippe.
Thank you, Jean-Michel. We have to continue with a couple of more thank yous. Very importantly, I want to acknowledge the support by our sponsors, particularly also our gold sponsors. This is the 31st meeting of this organization, which was a club initially, is now a society. Thanks, by the way, to the efforts of Jeff Mackey, who sits there. We're now here as a proud society, actually, with a well-oiled, well-organized kind of office and board. Nonetheless, we very much rely on the support of our industry sponsors, and we're very thankful that they again supported us this year, our gold sponsors, silver sponsors, and other sponsors. Without them, this meeting wouldn't be possible. So I'd like you to acknowledge their support. In addition, we had a lot of local support by the University of Nantes and local organization, some endorsements. And also I want to point out that we had a lot of support by the French Radiology Society, as well as the Martin Prince Foundation and the National Institute of Health, which enabled us to grant 30 travel stipends for this conference, which I think is very good, and we'll kind of work hard to kind of keep that momentum going, maybe increase the number of awards even, because we find it very critically important to enable trainees and early career members to come to this meeting. Well, just a couple of numbers. So these are the final numbers I was able to get today. So we had a total of 164 registered participants. Of those, almost 1/3 were trainees. Again, I think this is an excellent result. It shows you that our field is still innovative and dynamic and attracts young people, trainees, and people earlier in their career. And we also had a large showing of corporate members, which I think is also critically important, that we maintain the interaction with industry, basic scientists, and clinicians. And I think this meeting is a great example that you can have kind of very diverse kind of audience and group of participants that interact very well. And diversity is a good keyword that we'll come back to in a minute. You can also see the breakup by countries, but I'm also still very pleased by the large number of abstracts we were able to kind of include in the program, and also the exciting and very innovative science we were able to see at this program. Just a couple of pictures from this week. I think it was very interactive. We had great discussions. We ran out with time every single day, which you can attribute to me not being Swiss and only German. So this is this goes towards Matthias. Or you can attribute it to the great discussions we had and the many questions that were asked after each talk. So even though the speakers mostly stayed on time, we had these discussions and questions that kind of made us run over, and I think that's a good thing. So we had a very good stimulating discussions, and hopefully we can continue this very interactive type of meeting that we're having. And then I think everybody will agree that we had really wonderful social events, and this again goes back to Jean-Michel and Philippe, who picked these locations with the machines and the elephant and the wonderful dinner and music we had last night. So thank you again for organizing these wonderful events. A couple of updates in terms of the society. So you've probably seen we have a new logo, which is also displayed here at this podium. And again, shout out here goes to Richard Frayne, who has worked tirelessly, it seems like over the last 10 years, to get us a new logo. And we finally managed to arrive at a more modern logo that's probably more appropriate for our very modern and innovative society. I also want to quickly mention that we've formed a new committee this year. This is the Early Career Committee. And it's right now chaired by Liliana Ma. I'd like to ask her to come on stage for some update of the activities. And I have to say the Early Career Committee was fantastic to work with. It's probably our most active committee, and they've accomplished many things already, although they've only been a committee for the past 8 months or something like I think. And two particular accomplishments were actually quite visible here at this meeting, they organized an early career mentoring session on Wednesday and a diversity breakfast session. I'd like to invite Liljana, who has chaired the committee, to present some of the results of those events. You can also, by the way, go to our website, and if you click on Early Career Committee, you can see who's actually active in that committee. And if you're interested in working with them and on that committee, please do contact me or Liljana or anybody here on this list, and please help us join the society, become active, and help us grow and discuss things like mentoring and diversity. So I'll hand over to Liljana, who will briefly update on the activities at this meeting.
Thanks, Michael, and thanks to the board members for really starting this initiative this year and inviting a few of us to kick it off. Just as an update also, you can email me if you can find my email, but we also on that page about the Early Career Committee have a feedback box. You have to input an email address, but if you want to submit anything anonymously, you can also just put a temporary email or something. It goes to Joanne and Jeanette, doesn't go to the board members, and then they will filter them to us as appropriate. So just an update, this is a picture of our mentoring session. I think it was pretty productive. There was a lot of good discussion. And for the first one, we had 17 trainees and 12 invited mentors who graciously came. And I think it was just a great experience for everyone. And there was a lot of mingling with these different groups of people from industry, clinical backgrounds, and academic backgrounds that we might not normally talk to. So I highly suggest that people attend this in the future because you can just show up. You don't have to feel like you belong or something. You don't have to have questions. You just can show up. I think it's worth mentioning some aspects that we talked about at the diversity session because it was very early this morning. So a while ago we sent out a diversity survey, and actually using those results we kind of put together these slides on where we are now, where we're going, and a list of things that we talked about at this session. So just a brief summary, where we are now, I think we're really moving forward as a society, even though we've only been a society for about 3 years. We have the Early Career Committee, we have all these new sessions, there's increasingly diverse board representation, and a number of other areas that people might not always know about, such as visa applications are actually dealt with by the board. In addition, there are a lot of things that are moving, and so where we're going, potentially more formal membership, definitely more statistics on our attendees, more specific statistics by career level and location. We're kind of continuing the initiatives we've already talked about, and also we've really expanded social media presence as the early kind of young group. So we are on pretty much everything, I think, including WeChat, which Huilin and Sihai have been actively maintaining. Sihai Zhao. And in addition, we're considering potential associations with other societies. And so finally, at the session this morning, these are kind of some areas that we talked about and some things that the attendees came up with to contribute. And actually, we had a pretty good showing, around 25 people. So just feel free to take a quick look at this. Feel free to leave feedback and send us an email. Thank you.
Thank you, Liljana, and again, thank you also to all other members of the Early Career Committee for making such a strong effort in a very short time and to generate these very tangible and visible results. Thank you. Also wanted to mention again, as Liljana has said, we're now present on all social media you can think of, so check us out, like us, tag us, so spread the spread the word in the world, I guess is what I want to say. And finally, just want to mention another activity. We've also created a protocol committee that's headed by Kevin DeMarco and co-chaired by Giles Roditi and Elizabeth Hecht. And the idea here is really to generate standardized protocols, protocol recommendations, white papers, things like that. And I've said this many times, and I want to repeat myself here again. There's an email going out to everybody to please participate in these surveys that ask questions how you use SMRA protocols for carotid imaging, thoracic imaging, and renal imaging. So please help us to get some feedback to see how diverse the protocols are, what people are using, and so we can kind of build on that data to generate these protocol recommendations. Before we go to that, actually, I wanted to now hand over to Philip Dueck, who will briefly talk about and then hand out the trainee awards, the Pochan Award and the Passariello Award. Oh, start a slide.
Yeah, I have some slides, but if you can change the slide. Yeah, thank you. So, yeah.
Gave it away.
So, no problem. So, I have the honor to present the Pochan and Passariello Award, and actually I'm very proud to do that because these awards are designed for young investigators in research training program, and the purpose of this award is to recognize current achievement and to encourage continued research. This is actually the goal of this society. So I am very proud to announce the second runner-up of the Pochan Award winner, which is Liliane Ma. Is she? No. Okay. Can you come? So, for this Pochan Award, the judge was Alban Rodbeuil, Tim Leiner, and Eileen Coyle.
Thank you.
Thank you very much. And now I'm very proud to announce the first runner-up, which was Michael Scott. Let me find you. Yes.
Thank you.
Thank you very much. And the winner is John Herford. So now we'll move on for the Passariello Award winners. So this is a poster. So the best abstract and poster presentations, so the judges were Jeff Mackey, Chun Yuan, and myself. I have to say that we have a very, very, very hard time to judge all these abstracts because they were all between 4.8, 4.9, and 5. So it was very difficult. So the second runner-up of the Passariello Awards is Justin Barabou. The first runner-up is Ethan Johnson. And the winner is Georgia Milota. Congratulations. So I hope you'll be competing next year.
Hey, I need that. So I just don't look. I go back very quickly. Okay. All right. So just a couple of updates on the SMRA executive board. This is the old board in its existence until about 2 hours ago, and I just wanted to introduce new board members and thank a number of very accomplished board members for their service. First of all, Kevin DeMarco and James Carr are rotating off the board. And first of all, let's give them a big round of applause for their service. And James can't be here, he's already on his way back. But I wanted to take at least a minute to thank Kevin DeMarco. Kevin, where are you? Oh, back there. Kevin has been part of the society at least as long I have been part of the society, probably much longer. He's a past president, he's been the treasurer, he's chairing our protocol committee. I mean, he has committed so much of his life, I think, to this society. So we're extremely thankful for his services, and we'll miss him dearly as part of the board. We're thankful that he will continue the effort as part of the protocol committee. But really, this is a very, very heartfelt thank you from the SMRA board and also personally from myself. So thank you very much, Kevin. You've done a wonderful job. So 2 board members go out. Of course, we need 2 new board members, and I'd like to introduce the new board members. Number 1 is Sasha here and in the front, who was also a co-organizer of the Glasgow meeting. Welcome to the board. And then we have Xihai Sao, I don't know if right there, kind of also welcome to the board. He will, we've just decided today in the board that the meeting in 2021 will very likely go to Xi'an in China, and he will be the local organizer for that meeting. So condolences or congratulations, kind of depends on how you want to look at it. Next, I want to introduce our next president-elect, Chun Yuan. He's a very accomplished researcher at the University of Washington in Seattle, has been very active in vessel wall imaging for a long time, has been on the board of the SMRA for a year, and be part of this meeting also as long as I can think of. So Chun, you here? Oh, there you are in the back. Congratulations. And then finally, and this is the best moment for me here, so there's these 2 guys. So I'm on the right, and it depends on how you look at it. I'm officially no longer the president, actually, since 2 hours ago. And Giles Roditi, here, my good friend who organized the meeting in Glasgow last year, and then who's now a very good friend, I hope still after this meeting, is taking over. So this is then, to me, the formal passing of the gavel, which is a good tradition at the at MRA Club and now SMRA, to formally induct, I guess is the right word, Giles as the new president of the SMRA. Congratulations. Can somebody take a picture? There you go. All right, you can take over now.
So, is that condolences, is it?
No.
Okay. I would just say thank you to everybody that Michael and Philippe and Jean-Michel have already said thank you to, but really mainly thank you to all of you for coming to the meeting and making it a great success both last year and this year and hopefully next year. And, we seem to have some of these already. Join us again in 2020 in LA. That's the message. I think it's going to be a great meeting. Debbie Howe and Paul Finn are going to lead us off into the sunset. And we are going to continue all the things that Michael has talked about in terms of the clinical challenges, our diversity, the Early Careers Committee. And I've got a couple of little things in my little plan to get going as well during my year. It's only a year. It doesn't last very long. It'll be gone in a flash. And then I'll be a past president. I'll go to the past president's breakfast and I'll be an old has-been again.
It will feel like a very long year.
So thanks for coming and have a great time, have a great life, have fun.
One more quick thing. Do we have Debbie Lee in the room?
There he is.
Debbie, can you come quickly to the podium? Chuck Dumoulin actually asked me to start a new tradition, which I'm happy to do as my last act as not even acting president. So everybody probably remembers that we had these meeting chimes to call people back into the conference room. So these are now the official SMRA meeting chimes. They even have our logo on there. So and from now on, they will always be handed over as the last item at the closing session to the organizer of the upcoming meeting in the next year. So good luck fitting this into your hand luggage on the way back to Los Angeles. And of course, thank you very much for taking on the task, you and Paul Finn, who can't be here, for organizing next year's meeting, which we're sure will be wonderful.
Well, thank you, Michael. And let me say a few words. And I've been doing this about 14 years ago with our new president, Dr. Yuan, in Beijing. How many people are there? Well, quite a bit. So it's great to do this again. I don't know it's a condolence from Michael or congratulations, but it's going to be a challenge or very tough act to follow with such a successful meeting this year. But hopefully we can do it, and we can have Hollywood to help us, if possible. And so it's going to be very exciting. There are a lot of things to do, to see in LA, Hollywood, and Disney World, Disneyland, Universal Studio, beaches, mountains. There's a lot of things to do. So hopefully we can see you all and enjoy the meeting next year. So thank you.